times when we subpoena phone records, we do not want the bad guys to know that we did it because we're still investigating. But the idea that that could be done to a United States senator and that it would be okay for a prosecutor to just do it, not even a scintilla of evidence anybody did anything wrong, and then not provide notice to is in some ways the worst form of abuse by the Department of Justice.
Well, in fact, there's a constitutional ban, and I think a first-year law student should know that. You know, when AT&T was requested to provide the same records, they saw the constitutional problem. Right. They stopped. Verizon was willingly handing over my records and those of other my colleagues. And I just asked myself, what was the purpose? What was the motivation for them to violate my constitutional rights? Was it because they wanted to make friends with the FCC, maybe Ms. Venkatesh, to get an appointment sometime later? I don't know. Was it because of this frontier acquisition that they had in mind? I don't know. But we need to get to the bottom of it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Senator Gillibrand.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General, Acting Attorney General, for being here.
Thank you.
I've listened to your testimony today, and I have a concern about your focus. New York City was the site of the last major terrorist attack against the United States at 9/11. We benefit greatly from what you've mentioned, this whole of government approach, yes. Where we integrate CIA, NSA, DOD, FBI, DOJ, all integrated seamlessly, NYPD, to keep our city safe. It's one of the biggest cities in the country. It's one of the most dynamic cities in the country, and our public safety is paramount. But I've looked at your record, and I'm deeply concerned that you are not using this whole of government approach, because I see you slashing programs left and right that we know work for all sorts of things, from drugs to gun trafficking to community policing to cops program, slashing so many programs that I know work. So I want to take you through them and hear from you why your focus isn't where New York City and the state and the country need you to be, which is our public safety. So first of all, do you think that China, Iran, Russia want to do us harm and would undermine our elections?
Yes.
Why did you delete the whole department then that is supposed to protect against the undermining of our elections?
We spend a ton of time, a ton of money, a ton of man hours, a ton of resources on that very issue.
So yeah, but you canceled the FBI's Foreign Influence Task Force.
That's a task force. That's not. That's literally just a group.
It was
you know what a task force is. That's not getting rid of anything.
I was here in 2016. I know what happened. And after that, we did a whole of government approach.
Yes.
We put experts in at CISA. We put experts in at the FBI, and we put experts in at the Department of Defense. Together, whole of government approach, they went state by state by state to make sure that our electoral infrastructure was sound. However, your department and this administration has aggressively fired all the people that were put in charge of this. So they were the people at the FBI in charge of it. So why have you dismissed those operations?
Where that failed, there were no state and local involved. It was all just a bunch of federal people, mostly out of Washington, D.C., okay? And the FBI agents were all Washington, D.C. The way they were agents, not around the country where we needed them. So the way that we're addressing it by closing down that task force is by having HSTF set up in every single, including in New York City. Every single agency, every single state now has a HSTF, and that is one of their main focuses. And it does work with state and local.
I want a complete report on this, because I don't have confidence that you are doing what needs to be done. Because if all the 300, 400 expert people that were in our previous administrations, multiple administrations, Democrat and Republican administrations, if none of them are good and you're starting over from scratch, that doesn't sound like the recipe for success.
I didn't say none of them were good. That's not what I said.
Well, they've all been dismissed, and they've all been fired in all three areas.
That's not true. They have not all been dismissed.
We fired the people from DOD. We fired the people from CISA. We fired the people at the FBI. They were all dismissed.
They were not all dismissed. Many of them are still here.
Ask for a briefing, look into it, and give a report to this committee. Because I'm telling you, if you agree that our adversaries do not have our goodness in mind, they don't have our protected elections in mind.
Yes.
I need laser-like focus on solving this
You're getting
problem.
laser-like focus.
All right, I'd like a report on that. Second issue, gun trafficking. We have been working so hard as a federal government to stop the flow of illicit guns into our communities, where someone can sell guns out of the backs of their trucks from some criminal gun dealer who's trying to get these guns into the hands of criminals. And we're supposed to get data every year so we can show that our gun trafficking laws are working. These new enhanced laws where police officers can now go cross state lines to do their investigation. Why are you not giving me the data about gun trafficking? I need to know if it's working. I need to know if these cases are being prosecuted, and I can't even get data out of your department.
Well, the cases are being prosecuted. We did.
Will you give me the data so I can assess it?
I don't know what data you're talking
Just
about.
the number of weapons that have been seized, the number of cases that are being prosecuted. We keep track of how many weapons have been seized that are trafficked, and I'm waiting from your department over a year to get that data.
To the extent there's data that we're
Will you
required
send it?
to
Okay,
no,
next
that's
point.
Not, okay.
I
Cut me
got
off.
like 5
Okay.
points. I only get 5 minutes. Next point. Community violence intervention grants. You are slashing these community violence intervention grants. They work. We know they work. One of them was to New York for $4.2 million. Slashed. It prevents youth violence. These are programs that are working. Did you analyze whether this program was working before you slashed the funding?
Yes, there's still a ton of funding for those programs.
Not
They do
the
work.
ones in
They
New York.
do.
You just deleted them. Delete. It's shocking.
It wasn't delete. That
Okay,
is
well,
absolutely
4.2
not true.
was deleted for the Local Initiative Support Corporation that funds.
It's not a deletion. It's just that we're not seeking funding for it through this exact.
No,
process
I'm
for that
seeking
exact.
funding for it. I've asked for the money, and we've gotten grants for this, and you've just suspended this grant program.
I'm happy to work with you to make sure we're spending the grant money in the right way.
I don't have any more time, but there's a community-oriented policing grant cuts as well. The COPS funds. This is something our police officers and our community policing development micro grants, they benefit from it. De-escalation training grants, programs that work. Our police officers need it. And then drugs. We have an anti-heroin and anti-methamphetamine task force, and we need to be funded, and it's not being funded. So
It is being funded. Absolutely. There's a different amount of funding, but it is being funded.
No, you've eliminated funding for both the anti-heroin, anti-methamphetamine task force. I'm sorry. Which is the task force that stops the trafficking of heroin, fentanyl, and the very long word I can't pronounce.
I mean, Senator, there's nothing more important to President Trump and to this Department of Justice than combating the illegal flow of narcotics. So to the extent that there is a particular funding revenue stream that is not being funded the same way, I commit to you that it is of the highest priority to combat drug trafficking.
Last is the Public Safety Officer Benefit Program. You say, we just had Police Week, you say you stand with law enforcement. When you do not support this program and when these funds are not getting back to the loved ones who have lost their police officer loved one, it is not right. I need you to focus on this. I need you to get this right.
We're committed. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. Thank you, Acting Attorney General. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I want to talk about the ATS National Tracing Center, which you know is located in Martinsburg, West Virginia. I think this is a stunning statistic for people to realize that in fiscal year 2024,